Netflix is changing cartoons. So recently, I've been on a kick where I wanted to find out the best cartoons to watch on Netflix. Cartoons that could rival the creativity and imagination of shows like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, and The Avatar. Even though, The Avatar is now on Netflix, which I do highly recommend you watch. But while finding these new shows, spending cartoons at the cartoons, until I felt like my eyes was literally about to fall out, I noticed one thing, which is that cartoons on Netflix is slowly changing the way we see cartoons today. During my experience watching shows on Netflix like The Dragon Prince, Voltron, The Hollow, Tuca and Birdie, and Castlevania, the more I noticed one thing, is that each show is being a show all on its own. These shows are their own product of art and could possibly be the beginning of change that we see inside the cartoon industry today, with storytelling becoming more immersive, creating a universe that we can care about, without having to follow the strict guidelines given by the existing cartoon stations now. Showing characters on screen that we could never seen anywhere else, like inside the corporate-run cartoon stations today, meaning that we can now get a more diverse selection of cartoons at our disposal. Because of this, we are now able to get shows more like Steven Universe, shows with a diverse set of cast, or shows with just a cast where it's no longer just a regular run-of-the-mill main character. And you know what I mean when I say the average main character, which is usually, the silly, see-through personality kind of guy that is kind of annoying to everyone. And you know who I'm talking about. But now, cartoon is changing, and it's changing for the better. Because when watching these cartoons on Netflix, I noticed that the shows always had a very different set of main characters, with the shows not being scared to express who their character represents, with either having a person of color as the main character that don't act like the stereotype that is often given to them, or having the main character being a proud representation of the LGBTQ community. Shows like Kipo, Shira, and Ses Manos, which is literally a karate action cartoon based inside Mexico. Without cartoon creators having to worry about the restrictions that some stations could have over them, affecting their creative process, giving the cartoon industry so much creative freedom, allowing them to create a show that more people can relate to. And the best part about the changes in these cartoons is not only good because it gives representation for people who've never really been represented before, but it also makes shows that both young and old can enjoy. Because growing up on such great shows like Avatar, Ben 10, Total Drama, and 16, and plenty more, these shows are not just appealing to kids, but also great for adult watchers. Because these shows made sure they had great storytelling and great themes that we can relate to, which is kind of the reason why Avatar is so popular now on Netflix. Because it is a show that we was all excited for when we was kids, so now to be able to rewatch the show with just as much enjoyment, or even more than before. But when it's down to finding these types of shows on television now, it can be kind of hard to find. But I can say that due to the amount of creative cartoons being pushed on Netflix, more and more great cartoons are being released, filling the void that Avatar has once left. Shows like Kipo, Voltron, and The Dragon Prince, which was created by one of the head writers that helped make the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. So if you're still missing some of that sweet Avatar action, then there you go. And the best part about the changes inside cartoons is not only that it can be watched by a much broader audience, but to now be able to have more relatable adult cartoons. And don't get me wrong, I love to watch me an episode of Family Guy as much as the next guy, with each episode being full of hilarious dark humor and jokes. But it's just something different about watching new adult cartoons on Netflix. Because now, even though there are still tons of dark-filled comedies on the platform, we are now starting to see adult cartoons where dark humor is no longer the root of the show, or the main drive of the show. Instead, it is pushed aside, becoming a secondary subject to help push the show's plot, leaving rooms for much bigger discussions without overshadowing the meaning. Shows like BoJack Horseman, Tuca and Birdie, and F is for Family, all great Netflix original shows that don't follow the mind-numbing dark comedies that we are used to, instead having an overviewing plot for all of them. And let's face it, as we get older and we continue to live our lives, the more and more of our inner thoughts continue to grow. as well as with them being more jumbled and complicated as the events of our lives begin to unfold. And what better way to unfold them than to watch a show that we can relate to? Like the show Tuca and Birdie. This show is starting off very colorful and funny as we follow the adventures of the ex-roommate Tuca and her best friend Birdie, with the beginning of the series having a lighthearted fun and dark jokes, like the sex bug episodes and Birdie's boring, predictable sex life, to the show turning into something completely different, as it tackles problems like the abuse inside the workplace and inner traumas and problems. Or the show F is for Family, which is one of the rawest cartoon adaptations of a family I've ever seen, showing a not so happy family living their not so happy lives, with the show tackling interesting topics like the problem of having a family earlier than planned, and showing how not all relationships are perfect and it's something that we must constantly work on if you intend on making it work out. And even though this show has a lot of rib-cracking moments with all the fucked up things that happen inside it, this show is not afraid to pull you back, grounding you inside of reality. Cartoon is changing, and for the better, and it's something that we just cannot ignore, with these changes not only being shown just on Netflix, but also on other cartoon stations as well, as we could begin to make the leap of faith, with shows that is not afraid to show diverse choosings like Steven Universe or Craig of the Creek, shows with more diverse characters and stories, now being told from different voices, more cartoons that are now gender neutral, meaning less mind-numbing shows with either just a bunch of boys blowing stuff up or girls gossiping, having their favorite color be pink, but instead cartoons driven out on storytelling, characters, something that we can relate to, something that we can watch together. Because during these times like these, sticking together is what we need the most. A message that I'm so glad is being spread on every platform. Manny B, signing out. Peace. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching and supporting our channel. If you like what you see, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to be the first one to know when our next video is up, make sure you push that notification button. And to also follow us on Instagram. Manny P, signing out. Peace.